Wonderland here, and today's video is going to be a set review over the Ruby cards from Rise of the Floodborn. And it has been a little bit since it's come out. I've been a little slow on making more videos, but because of that we have a little bit more information, so my judgment on these cards has a little bit more behind it this time. I've had a little bit of feedback that a lot of the reviews from the last couple videos were in the 2 and 3 range, and sadly that just happens to be that I think a lot of the cards are kind of just mid, but that's not like a bad thing necessarily. That's just going to be the way it is for most card games. There's going to be a handful of cards that are just a little bit better than the rest. Luckily, this game doesn't have a whole bunch of zeros and ones, which some other card games get. So I mean, I could be a little bit more open with their ratings and rate a few more cards higher and then a few more lower. But in general, there's a lot of vanilla cards that don't do much, that are just basically a 1.5 to a 2. And then when you have a basic unit that just has a slight upgrade, it's only going to be a 2.5. Not everything is going to end up just being absurd. Well, let's get going and looking at these cards. First off, we're starting with Baloo at being a 4/3 at costing 3 and luring for 1. It's basically mid, and we've got another one that we're just going to put in the 1.5 pile. We're going to have a big pile of that today, I assume. Boone Precious Entrepreneur is a 2/3 for 2 with 1 lore. We already have this, which is fine. Maybe we'll eventually get a shift version of them. Otherwise, it's just a new character to use for your theme-based decks. It's just a 1.5. Not much to see. Similar actions with Card Soldiers, a 5-mana 5/5, 2 lore, decent for limited, not really ever going to see constructed play. Donald Duck, not again, quite the disappointment of a legendary. If you can get it to go off, maybe it'll be good for you, but costing 5 and only going for 1 initially for evasive is kind of weak. If you have Teeth or Ambition, then it gets a lot better. But in general, I expect more out of a legendary. Still a 2.5 though. It does have evasive, but for a legendary, I'd hope they'd try to be at least a 4. Felicia, Always Hungry, a 3/1 Reckless for 1. A lot of people really wanted this for constructed. I don't know how good it really is, but it has potential, and I think a lot of people might be interested in this if they were already interested in Gaston, really depending on how fast the format is. It deals with Simbas, and that's probably an important thing. Being able to play this on turn 1, your opponent was on the play, they go Lilo, they pass, we play Felicia, they play Simba, we untap, and we play Baby Queen of Hearts. We use Felicia to take down Simba, and then we rush the Lilo. Seems like it has some action. A solid 3. Fidget, a 3-cost 3/2 with evasive. Quest for 1. Not that impressive. Pretty sure we have something very similar to this already, and while this does take out some opposing evasives, such as Surfer Mini, which we'll see, she Quest for 2, this only does 1. It's about a 2. A little better than average. Well, the average vanilla unit for 3, which is not up to average par for a card score. Honest John, not that honest, not that good. It fills the cycle. Like, each color has a Floodborn trigger, and this is one of the weaker ones. Could maybe see a spot if you really need to slow down the hyper aggro decks. It just is. If this was inkable, it would be way better, but it's like a 2. If it was inkable, it could be almost a 3. There's just Floodborn in every deck. Just being like an okay unit to play on curve that could have some actions, could do things. But honestly, get that? Honestly, Honest John is a little weak. Lady Tremaine, coming at 6, a 3/4 Imperious Queen. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Shift 4. When this comes into play, each player chooses and banishes one of their characters. You no longer have to be afraid of Cusco. If you're able to kill every other unit and they play a Cusco, or you play Be Prepared, they untap and play Cusco Pass, you have an easy answer. Lady Tremaine, I might have rated her a 3.5 if I had not played with her. After playing with her, she is a 4 to a 4.5. If she was inkable, she'd be an easy 4.5. She will change, if has not already had a major impact on the format. The red, blue Paw Patrol deck plays it, and as a 4 of. Red purple decks, almost every variation, be it the more aggressive ones, the mid range, or the full on control, they basically all play her. She is just very good. And she has a cheaper shift cost that if you want to play Baby Lady Tremaine and steal a lore while also being uninkable, I've played it in some archetypes and it does work. Shift down for 4, edict make them sack one of their units and then attack and kill their other one if that's not the one they sacrifice. Can be quite punishing. Easy 4, arguably 4.5. And speaking of Baby Lady Tremaine, the overbearing matriarch, here we go. 2 costs 2/2, quests for 1, and when you play it, if they have more lore than you, then you lose 1. So if you're getting beat down, it slows down the beating. It's an okay vanilla stat line, so that alone would make me put it at a 1.5. It's uninkable, which is why it's not just like a 2 for having a slightly usable ability, but because of how good her shiftable counterparts are, she becomes at least a 2. She will see play. It's already tough for some archetypes because of the uninkable count, but the more aggressive the format is, the higher chance she'll see play. If the format slowly devolves into a control versus control, she's not going to see any play. Lumiere, 7/7/7, quest for 2. You're just never going to play it. It's mid, it's a waste of a rare, it's like Little John. You never want to see vanilla rares. Quite disappointing. 1.5. Minnie Mouse, Stylish Surfer, 3 mana, 1/3 evasive, quest for 2. She is good. I like her. She is a 3 to a 3.5. I'm only going to settle with a 3. No, we'll give her the 3.5. She just keeps sneaking into decks. As an aggressive threat, as a mid-range threat, and then also there to deal with the Pascals. She's just good. Minnie Mouse, Wide-Eye Diver, at 4 cost 2/3, shifts 2, evasive. When you play a second action, she gets +2 lore. I have not played her with the double action aspect. I have played her a little bit, and honestly, her only questing for 1 normally is just like a big hit to her. You're not gonna be able to play 2 actions every turn enough to make it worth it. She's actually pretty disappointing, only 2.5. Motorbike Minnie Mouse. 2 cost 3/2, 1 lore. You have to be quite embarrassed if you lose to this. I know, it was quite embarrassing. 1.5. Mother Gothel, 2 cost 3/4, comes into play, takes 3 damage, quest for 1. If it was just a 2 cost 3/1 for 1, I would not be that impressed. We've already seen the Motorbike Mini, which is better than that. But the fact that this just sets up for so many different synergies, and the longer she's around, the longer the game is around, the better she'll be, because there's just going to be more heal interactions. This alone draws you 3 cards with a Rapunzel. She is a game team player. An easy 3.0. Mulan, Soldier in Training, a 4 cost uninkable, 4/3 rush, quest for 1. Quite mid. I'd rather have a Rafiki almost every day. We have Fox in the same format that's inkable. While yes, those are both purple and this is red, this card is very underwhelming. the vanilla 2 costs are better than this on average. Like, it is a 1. Namari Nemesis, 4 cost 3/3, tap to banish chosen character, quest for 1. I was pretty happy with this, and I put her in a few brews in the beginning. I think she's an easy 3.0. She hasn't found a home yet. She's a little slow. The more aggressive the format, she does get a little worse. And the less combo-y the format is, she also gets better. Sadly, the way our current set 2 is going, she's probably not going to see very much play. Queen of Hearts, Impulsive Ruler, a 2 cost 2/2 rush. Overall, I'm not too impressed with her, but a 2 cost rush is new to the game. We have not had that yet, and in general, she's an easy 3.0, maybe even a 3.5, as being the only 2-drop rush. She does the job sometimes, and she's inkable. That alone makes her better than so many other 2 costs. And she has a reasonably good shift variant. It is unfortunate that if you shift on the turn you play it, that it loses rush, but them the rules. Speaking of the shift variant, we have Queen of Hearts, Sensing Weakness. This bad girl costs 5, 4/3, and whenever one of your characters challenges, you draw a card. It's very interesting. It's kind of hard to set up. The format has definitely shifted to a not having tapped units in play as much as possible because of the bounce deck. With Shurkan and Queen of Hearts in the format, you don't really want to leave your units in play to be attacked. That said, she's an easy 3.5. Drawing cards, multiple cards even a turn, quite good. The format might not always allow her to see play, but when it does let her see play, she's going to do lots of things. Ratigan, Very Large Mouse, a 5 cost 3/3. When it comes into play, you tap a 3 power or less opponent, and one of your characters gets readied. They can't quest. It's kind of an interesting 5-drop removal on a unit. It's okay. It's about a 2.5 to 3. I have not seen anyone really play it yet. There's a lot of competition in the 5 cost range, but this ability is decent and seems very good in limited. Rhea Headstrong, a 3 cost 2/3. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character, you may ready it. She can't quest in turn. This is not very good, but has very fun potentials that you can combo her with a few different cards that pump till end of turn and give resist, and you could try to create like a one-sided kill all of your units. You can give her pick a fight to make her attack untapped units. You can give her charge to give challenger and resist, and you might be able to just wipe out every unit they have. Could be good. Still requires a lot. 2.5. Her shift counterpart, Leader at Heart, 5/3 for 6, quest for 2. Whenever a character is challenged a damaged character, she takes no damage from the challenge. So she can just take down, like a Tinkerbell comes down and then she just shoots down something. Kind of meh. Does not do too much, requires a lot to actually have things set up and work in her favor. Definitely not worth a super rare slot. Probably okay in limited, if decent in limited, most likely. But a 2.5 in constructed. Well, here's her vanilla thing, 1.5. 4 cost 5, 3 quest for 1 does nothing. Don't ever really want to see it. Scar, Vicious Cheater, a 6/5 for 7. Rush. Whenever it kills something in combat from challenge, it untaps. This card is pretty good. I've seen it kill 5 or 6 creatures. If it gets healed partway through with the Rapunzel. There's all sorts of things you can do with this. You can kill 3 things and then draw a couple cards off of Dinner Bell. Scar, Vicious Cheater is an easy 3.5, almost a 4. It has a little bit of play to it. To get to that 4, I think Be Prepared is just better most often. But if you're able to use Scar to get a one-sided Be Prepared, well, it could easily be a 4.5 in a deck that doesn't want to be playing Be Prepared because it wants its units to stay in play, but still needs to deal with swarms. Shere Khan, Menacing Predator, a 3/3 for 3, quest for 1. When one of your characters challenges another character, you gain a lore. Easy 3.5, could also, just like the last card, jump up to a 4.5 in the right matchups. I put this bad boy in a lot of the decks I first brewed and was very disappointed. While it's very powerful and I think would have done a lot in set 1, in set 2 the format's just shifted so much. Too many things are untapped, so much bounce, and it doesn't do as much as you want it to, which is sad. Has potential, but the format needs to shift up. Tigger, one of a kind, a 3-cost 3/3. When you play in action, he gets +2 power, quests for 1. Only really in limited, 1.5, has an ability, decent curve, never going to use it in constructed. Tuk Tuk Wrecking Ball, a 4/5 for 4, reckless. At rare slot, does not really do much. 2.0. I don't really ever want this. Go the Distance. A 2-cost, ready chosen character. They can't quest for the rest of the turn. Draw a card. That's what I thought it said when I first read it, because just like there, I did not notice damaged. The fact the character has to be damaged makes this card go from like an easy 4.0, almost like basically free card to play, to 1.0. Just seems unlikely. There will probably be a day when there's a unit like Mother Gothel that damages itself that can combo with this to do something crazy. Like it exerts to draw a card and you can use this or something like that. Until then, it's not going to see play. Teeth and Ambitions. A 2-cost song. Deal 2 to chosen character of yours and 2 to another chosen character. This card slept for a little bit. It jumped from the 50 to 80 cent range up to $20. Then has been slowly dropping back down. The TCG player and Lorcana market in general has been crazy these last few weeks. But this card is the real deal. Turn 1 Mini or Olaf or Rhea. Turn 2, cast this, shoot your 1/3, kill off that pesky 1-mana double lore unit. Kill off that Pinocchio. Your opponents are untapping their units with LeFou or bouncing and replaying them. This lets you kill them before they can attack, if they're weak. An easy 3.5, but in the meta, it's a 4.0. This card is very good. Most singing removal is just solid. The most diabolic scheme. I say most singing removal is insane, and we come to this. It is not absolutely unplayable, but it's like a 2.5 to a 3 when you're able to make it work. But that said, if the format gets... If someone was using a 0 to hero to drop a 7-drop on turn 3, like, you can't let that hit you enough times before you can cast a Dragonfire. So this will have times when it comes in and sees play. But it doesn't impress me much. What did you call me? For what cost? Chosen character gets +3 attack this turn. If there's a reason to have a very large attack, this could maybe be part of that. Otherwise, it's just disadvantage in general. I don't like it. It's 1.0. I don't like any of these cards. Maybe even a 0.5. You Can Fly, a 2-cost. Chosen character gains evasive till the start of your next turn. Kind of used as a way to protect a unit for a turn. I could maybe see this, especially if there was a Maui-dominated format that didn't play targeted removal. But it's not great. It's like a 1.0. Dinner Bell, I personally haven't been too impressed by it, but quite a few other people have. It hasn't performed the greatest for me, but I just don't think I had the shell that it was made for, and I don't think Amber Ruby is very well set up in the current format, and that's definitely going to be the archetype to take advantage of it the most. And if they're able to make a deck that plays with the current meta, I think it could be great. This is a red card draw spell in a color that does not have very much. It's a solid 3.5. Peter Pan's Dagger. Your characters of evasive get +1 attack for 2, an item. It's quite unique. If you really need to be able to make your evasives trade with theirs without having to hit them twice, it could maybe get there. If we have sideboards, I could see it seeing a lot more play, but until then, it's not good. Like a 0.5. Sword in the Stone. A 1-cost item, chosen character gets +1 attack for each damage on them. If only power mattered that much. I don't think this is very good. It's another 0.5. At least it's reusable, so it's a 1.0, but not very great. In general, Red has a couple big outliers that are just very good, and they seem to be removal based. Queen of Hearts costing 2 rush, very good. Teeth and Ambitions being solid early removal, both of which are needed in the current format. And Lady Tremaine is just showing herself to be amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the format I did not view her as a 5-star. She just does so much. And quests for 2. Well, that's it for the Ruby portion. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you think your favorite Ruby card was of the new set.